First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai Bashem, Wakakadash. Double honors to the elders, preaching this word truthfully and sincerely. In the name of Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai Bashem, Wakakadash. And shalom to the Akim, scattered through the four corners of the globe, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. In the name of Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai Bashem, Wakakadash. And I say shalom to you Akim out there. And this is another recent news article from Politico.com as of January 18th, 2023 at 1:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And this is published by Laura Sligman and Paul McClary as of January 18th, 2023 and last updated January 18th, 2023. And it reads, U.S. preparing for major military package for Ukraine. Friday's announcement is expected to include Stryker vehicles, but not tanks. And it says the U.S. is gearing up to announce a major new weapons package for Ukraine on Friday as a top military leader from around the world gathered in Germany to discuss how to help Kyiv in its fight against Russia, according to the three U.S. officials and another person familiar with the discussion. While the next tranche will include an additional artillery, ammunition, and armor, likely Stryker armored combat vehicles, the U.S. is not expected to sign off on American M1 Arbin tanks, said the people who spoke on conditions of the anonymity to discuss the talks of an announcement. The Biden administration is currently have no plans to send the armor Abrams Army's 60-ton main battle tank to people, said. The reclanding is due to the logistical and maintenance challenges of the tanks and not over concerning that their transfer could escalate the conflict. One of the U.S. officials said this person noted that the U.S. has helped Ukraine obtain a Soviet-era tanks and support the British decision to send around a dozen of its Challengers 2 tanks. The package will likely include a number of Strykers and 8-wheeled armored fighting vehicles built by General Dynamics and Land Systems, as well as a ground-launched small diameter bombs, which have a range of roughly 100 miles. Two other people said the Politico first reported last week that the Pentagon was considering sending Strykers in the upcoming Trench of Aid. Google first reported that the Boeing-made small diameter bombs were under discussion. This package will not include a long-range armored tactical missile system that can reach Moscow. According to two of the people, the Biden administration has both to send long-range munitions despite Kyiv's plea for fear of provoking Russia's President Vladimir Putin. We believe the provision of modern tanks will significantly help improve the Ukraine abilities to fight They are fighting more effectively going forward, National Security spokesman John Kirby told reporters on Wednesday, referring to the European tanks, which declined to comment on any upcoming aid package from the United States. And it says the White House has not yet signed off the package, which is still being finalized and could change this week. But officials an expected announcement around the regular Ukraine Defense Contact Group's meeting Ramstein Air Base in Germany on Friday, where Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin and Joint Chief Chair General Mark Milley will meet with their counterparts to discuss the new Ukraine aid, I meant to say. The latest meeting comes as Kyiv raised an alarm that Moscow is preparing to launch a new major offense to target the capital city. Ukraine intelligence officials have warned that Kremlin plans to new mobilize up to 500,000 conscripts, while on Monday Russia and Belarus began joint military exercise. Passed by Kyiv to send heavy missiles in recent weeks. Western nations have dramatically increased their plea of new armor and aim to helping Ukraine build new armed units and for harder fighting this spring and summer. Late last year, the United States and the Netherlands agreed to spend 90 million to upgrade 90 Soviet-era T-72 tanks operated by the Czech Republic for shipment to Ukraine. Germany has also played its murder, Mirda, if I pronounce that right, Slovakia, infantry fighting vehicles in France. Its AMX-TRC and wheel system built around the turret mount 185 mm gun. Canada will also provide 200 Canadian-made personnel carriers. Defense Minister Antia and announced on Wednesday while visiting Kyiv. This month, the U.S. announced it would send 50 Bradley firing vehicles and track armed vehicles that carries a autocannon and machine gun at tower missiles. The administration has already provided thousands of combatant vehicles, including Humvees and mine-resistant vehicles used to move troops on the battlefield. It says in a sign that the U.S. sees a need as urgent. Biden administration officials visit Kyiv over the weekend ahead of the meeting in Germany. John Feiner, the White House Deputy National Security Advisor, Colin Powell, the Under Secretary of Defense for Policies for Wendy Sherman, the Defense Secretary of State met with President Vladimir Zelensky and other senior Ukrainian officials. I salute everyone that Ukraine people have done to continue to survive and endure. Frankly, that's why Putin will lose, because this theory and victory is that they will give up. At postures as Secretary of Defense has been clear, we will stay with Ukraine people for as long as it takes. Kyle tweets after the visit. But Ukrainians still pleading for Western tanks on top.
Shot is not a fear from that.
Man.
Yeah, that's what they just said.
Yeah.
Hell with you, so. Man. Crazy, Joe.
It says, but the Ukraine pleading for Western tanks on top for the UK challengers. A handful of nations has signaled their willingness to send their German-made battle tanks, but are waiting on a decision from Berlin to a green light. The report the Leopards are seen as a better option than the Abrams because of the sheer number and the use already in Europe. Leopards are also considered easy to maintain and consume less fuel. It says while German Defense Minister Boris Pistorius will replace Christian Lindstrom this week, it's expected to meet on Thursday with Austin. It is possible decision has already been made higher up in the German government on whether to approve the transfers. Both Poland and Finland have said they are willing to send more of their Leopard tanks to Ukraine, but no movement has been publicly to make that transfer appear imminent. Candidate Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said that this week he is not ready to make a decision on the Leopard tanks in this Army's warehouse. However, other countries that field the German tanks, such as Spain and Norway, has not yet commented publicly on the matter, though Spain expressed a willingness to send some Leopards last summer. This week, a Ramstein meeting promised to be one of the most significant of the monthly gatherings of defense ministers, as the 50 nations discuss how to prepare Ukraine for more hard months of fighting. In addition to the recent British announcement of Challenger tanks and new American package, Finland is expected to unveil its large Ukraine military aid shipment to date, according to one person familiar with the thinking in Helsinki. If I pronounce that right, Slovakia. It says Finland doesn't publicize its contributions but has sent artillery, small arms, and arms, quote, in the past. Western leaders have been cautious about publicly publishing German too hard on the tank issues. Supporting for Ukraine is about making sure that each of the U.S. can do what it can do. James Cleverly, the UK Foreign Secretary, told reporters in Washington on Tuesday that our ability to support is going to be different from one nation to another. Meanwhile, the U.S. kicked off new training programs for Ukraine this week. Right, one in Germany and one in here in the United States, which is located in Oklahoma, a military base, where they're going to be training Ukraine soldiers. It says an expansion course to enhance Ukraine force fighting skills in Germany and training on the Patriot missile system at Fort Steele, Oklahoma. It says Ukraine is set to receive 3 Patriot batteries and a defense system designed to shoot down missiles and aircraft, one for the U.S. and one each other from Germany and the Netherlands. And it says before heading to the Ramstein meeting, Molly stopped by to see the training in Germany, which is expanding the pipeline to 500 Ukrainian soldiers per month and includes instructions on how to coordinate infantry maneuvering with artillery support. The difference between this summer and the previous 2 summers is that he does not have the cachet of coming off those Indian. This is the book of Mark, chapter 13, verse 7, and it reads, Slakia. When ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, be ye not troubled, for such things must need be, but the end shall not be yet. Verse 8 in the book of Mark, chapter 13, verse 8 in the Holy Scriptures, and it reads, For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be earthquakes in diverse places, and there shall be famines and troubles. These are the beginning of sorrows, right? Because these things are going to increase. With the Russia-Ukraine situation increasing, and it's going to increase more and more and more. That's why the scripture has stated in the latter days of these things was going to intensify and increase, especially the wars and rumors of wars with the Russia-Ukraine situation. And as you see the latest news article right here, if this is 100% accurate and true, you have right here U.S. preparing for a major military package for Ukraine, another military package aid assistance. Just like they recently, I say about like a couple of weeks ago, they sent an additional $3.45 billion to Ukraine in military assistance. Now they announcing, if this is 100% true, now they doing another major announcement of U.S. prepping major military package for Ukraine, as they training Ukraine soldiers that arrived in America in a military base in Oklahoma City, and it is expanding their training to help the Ukraine soldiers, the United States soldiers in Germany as well too. Where you have over there in the eastern part, the eastern Europe, because you got U.S. soldiers stationed there, along with Poland as well too in that region. But this is over there in Germany that they is going to extend the expansion of the helping train the Ukraine soldiers. You know, because they said potentially the war is going to continue for a much longer with the the war Ukraine, Russia versus Ukraine, that current war that's going on. So yeah, the latter days you've seen increasing intense battlefield fighting between the two different nations. Yeah. No.
Oh. Oh.
Salaki about that. Talk to my OG. So yeah, you're gonna see this intense heating up wars and rumors of wars between these two different nations. And I'm gonna bring out Luke 21 and 9. Then I'm gonna close out the lesson from there. So yeah, this wars and rumors of wars are definitely heating up between these nations. And that's what we're seeing currently right now. And this is red letter Yahushua speaking, Luke 21 and 9. But when ye should hear of wars and commotions, be ye not terrified, for these things must first come to pass, but the end is not by end by right, because that's what we're seeing. We're seeing these commotions of wars and rumors of wars heating up between the nations of different kingdoms. And we're seeing the proxy wars and the wars and the hostility between these two different nations and these different kingdoms as well too. And that's what we're seeing increasing in the latter days, And so with that, hopefully this was edifying of this recent news article that just came out of U.S. Preparing major military package for Ukraine once again. So with that, I would like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Wakakadash, and double honors to the elders who are preaching His word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, scattered through the four corners of the globe, preaching His word truthfully and sincerely as well too. And until next time, I will say shalom.